What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Combat and Canvas YouTube channel. I'm Brady. With me, as always, Max. And today we have to talk about something that happened over the weekend that I thought was not possible. I don't think the world thought was possible.
Yeah, man. I did not think it was possible for sure.
Just Ryan Garcia defeated Devin Haney by majority decision in their fight this past Saturday. Now, before we go into it, just want to say we put out a video on Ryan Garcia needing help and the possibility of this fight not happening, the possibility of if it does happen, you know, is this the worst that can happen for Ryan?
Yeah.
Is his mental okay? Is he just going to get beat real bad? Well, he ended up winning, so he shut all of us up. He shut
Yeah.
the entire world up.
100%, bro. I feel like, yeah, it was starting to get to a point where we are actually starting to be concerned for him. But man, he showed that that was completely unneeded, and that when it comes to his boxing, bro, he was locked in because he put on a
Yeah.
great performance. I mean, I was just completely shocked. I really thought that Devin Haney was going to look a whole lot better. I thought that Ryan had an off chance of maybe catching him in a later round or catching him early, which we kind of saw that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Ryan fought a lot smarter than I expected, and I feel like Haney fought a lot less smart than I expected.
Yeah. Before we get into the fight itself, there is a question that a lot of people were asking. Um, And that is simply, was Ryan Garcia faking this whole mental health thing?
Yeah,
Was it all an act? Was it
I still
just
don't
a
know.
yeah, I guess genuinely no one knows, but there's a lot of people saying that they think it is. Like he basically trolled the entire time to, I don't know, get in Devin
Yeah,
Haney's head to fool everyone. I don't
yeah,
know,
get
but
more hype for the fight. He talked about that. He's like, "You guys really thought I was crazy?" He goes, "I just had to sell the fight."
yes.
I'm like, "Oh, okay." But then what confuses me, what makes me think that maybe it wasn't a publicity stunt where he's like, "Oh yeah, I was drinking every day," after he said that
Yeah,
in the
he did.
post-fight presser, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so I can't even tell if that was a troll or not. If he was really drunk while doing that, I'm like, is that really a troll or is that just him
Yeah.
being drunk and tweeting? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Exactly. And then that brings us to the weigh-ins, to
yeah,
where this entire fight just changed because Ryan Garcia missed weight. Now, it was a 140-pound bout. He weighed in at 143.2 or something.
yeah,
So he missed weight by like 3 pounds. And he drank beer
yeah, yeah.
while on
He
the scale. Now, do we know if it was actual beer or not?
He
He
said
says
that it was,
it
yeah.
wasn't.
He said that it was lemonade, but at this point, I have no idea with Ryan. I don't know what to
Especially,
believe.
yeah, and that goes into the point about what he said post-fight. Like, he was saying he was drinking every day, but then he
Yeah,
said at the weigh-in it wasn't. So it's like, what are we doing here? But
yeah,
yeah, basically he missed weight, so that means that the title was not on the line for Ryan Garcia. So basically it wasn't a championship fight.
yeah.
And now
Which
there's been a lot of
I hate to see, to be honest. I feel like Ryan
yeah,
probably does need to move up in weight. He was looking huge in there, but I mean, hey man, if you signed up for a 140-pound bout, you should be able to make 140. That's just me. But man, that does not excuse how bad he beat up Haney because, bro, I feel like no matter what the weight was, it was pretty clear that he was the better fighter on the night.
yeah. Well, that's a thing that was a knock on Javante, right? Talking about he drains his opponents down so much and then has the no rehydration clause or whatever. But in my opinion, like if you want to fight in the division, you have to make that weight. You have to.
Yeah,
Like, first of all, aside from any rehydration or anything, making the weight is number one. Like that's
yeah,
literally your job is to make weight for that division or else go up. I mean, how many times have we seen it? We're big MMA fans. How many times have we seen it in MMA where
yeah,
these guys are killing themselves to make what a 135? I mean, look at Davison Figueiredo
yep,
killing himself to make these lower weights, and then UFC's like, dude, just move up. So then
yeah,
they do. And I just don't understand why a guy like Ryan, like you said, looked massive in there,
mhm,
move up. And I think the issue with this is the boxing commissions or whoever's in charge is not really like giving these guys a reason to not miss weight. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Mhm.
like if you miss weight, this, what happened? It's like you might get a little fine, but
Yeah.
whatever. You'll still get a championship fight down, like
Mhm.
the next fight or whatever. Like there has to be some sort of lull,
Yeah.
laid down. You got to make this weight because not that it. I don't want to say ruin the fight because it certainly didn't,
Yeah.
but it definitely took some steam out of the fight because otherwise we would see a new champion right now.
Yeah, yeah. We'd be seeing Ryan with the belt, and I feel like that's a really powerful image in and of itself. But yeah, man, like I said, it sucks that he didn't make weight, but man, bro, I feel like Haney just did not show up whatsoever. And I feel like, man, at this point, we've kind of talked about this outside of the podcast where it's almost to the point where Ryan doesn't even need a belt. I mean, clearly they don't
Yeah,
seem to care if he misses weight. And
he doesn't seem to care.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. He was saying he's like, I just want to be strong in there. He's like, I'm going to kill him. And man, he definitely did that, bro. And honestly, if I was Haney, bro, I would have just been like, bro, if you can't make the weight, I'm just gonna not even fight you, bro. I'm trying to defend my belt
Yeah.
because, bro, especially in hindsight, I'd be like,
Oh,
definitely not fighting
100%.
him.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
understand. I understand. Like in the moment, he's like, "No,
yeah,
I trained. I did this
yeah,
whole camp. I made it this far. We're fighting, and I know I
yeah.
can beat you." And then when you lose, it's like, shouldn't have did that
Maybe,
fight.
yeah, maybe I should have just pulled out of there for real, bro. Respect to Devin Haney for surviving, honestly, because
Yeah, and I
that
guess
was a
I
beating.
guess that'll bring us to the fight. Now I'll
Yeah,
pull up these CompuBox stats here. So wow, I guess we got to talk about the first round
yeah.
immediately.
I
I mean,
mean,
Ryan
bro,
comes
less
out
than a
like a
minute.
bat out of hell. Yeah,
Yeah,
less than a minute. Ryan comes out, knock like
yeah.
out of the.
Wobbles
Oh my god,
Haney. Wobbles Haney bad,
he's
bro.
gonna.
He,
I thought he was gonna. I thought okay, so he wobbled him. He didn't drop him in the first, but I thought like, oh my god, he's either gonna knock him out now or in the second round.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
the hell is going on?
Dude, yeah, and I'm just wondering, I'm like, what is Haney's game plan, bro? Where he was immediately pawing at Garcia's left hand, which is the hand that has his left hook. I'm like, bro, why are you pawing at his jab when you know that he's just using that to set up the left hook where he's extending his rear hand away from his face where he'd be blocking the left hook. And I'm like, bro, you're already getting hit, but with that combo where, okay, let me throw out the blinding jab and then left hook. I'm like, bro, you
Yeah,
got caught with that in 40 seconds. I'm like, what was the game plan? I'm like, how are you guys not prepared for that? I understand that Ryan really jumped on him and he said he caught him by surprise. So I'm like, bro, how are you caught by surprise? I'm like, the guy was going mental before the fight and you don't expect him to go crazy in the first round. I'm like, how is that
exactly.
not a possibility that was in your head where Ryan has been super crazy outside of the ring? You don't think he's going to be crazy inside of the ring? Where, bro, once he had him hurt, bro, I have no idea how Haney stayed up in that round
Yeah,
where he caught him
yeah,
badly. And I feel like he was kind of wobbly for the rest of the fight after that.
yeah. And that's the thing with Ryan though. Here's the knock on Ryan, in my perspective. I, well, during the fight, right, while watching it, okay, easily he won round one. Oh my god, he wobbled him, yada yada. And then the second he kind of took off, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Looking at
was
the
like,
numbers, too, he really took that one off where he only landed 2 punches that entire round.
yeah, and everyone was like, oh, well, commentary mentioned it, and I was even thinking it, like,
Yeah.
did he gas himself out immediately?
Yeah.
What just happened? Like he came out on fire, and then all of a sudden now it's like not. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yep.
So it was like,
I know. I was thinking that too. I was thinking, all right, now Haney's gonna find his legs, start boxing smarter. But yeah, man, I feel like Garcia was smart to just take a few rounds off where he saw he could
yeah,
already hurt him. So he's like, well, I can probably hurt him later in the fight too, where we have seen Ryan have his KO power later in fights. And yeah, so he's like, let me just rest up and go for the next flurry. Because, man, he was doing that all night where he'd go crazy,
yeah. I was
flurry,
gonna
go for the
say
finish, and then rest up for a while.
basically that was the theme of the fight. That was basically it seemed like that was Ryan's game plan.
Yeah,
Hurt him
which
in the
was,
first,
yeah,
take time off, hurt him again, take time off, hurt him again, and it was working
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I, like you mentioned, there's a lot of people. I mean, if you watch boxing, if you know Ryan Garcia, so many people have so much criticism for this kid, right? And a lot of the criticism is he's a one-trick pony. He has a left hook, that's it. Left hook, that's it. Right.
Yeah.
So if you're another fighter, if you let's say I'm in Devin Haney's shoes, or you're in Devin Haney's shoes, and you're thinking like, what do I got to do to train for this? The first thing that comes to mind is watch out for that left. You
Yeah,
know,
100%, bro.
but I don't know what it was for Devin Haney. He was not seeing it at all,
No,
at all.
no,
Because
no.
every time there was a couple times where it looked like Ryan was like overthrowing and like really whipping it, like going for the
Yeah,
fences. But I don't know if that was like a baiting tactic or what, but he was like whipping it. But then ever so often, here comes the left, boom, catches him. Boom, catches him.
yeah,
It was like, why is Haney not putting his hands up? Why is he not seeing this?
yeah.
And yeah, I don't even know what was going on. But then, yeah, obviously, as we go on, then it happened. For the first
Round
time
7, man.
ever, Devin Haney gets knocked down, and
Yep.
bad.
Another left hook. Yep.
He falls down to his butt, but then when he rolled over, he like kind of face planted a little bit, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's not getting
Yeah,
up."
yeah, yeah. His legs were gone, bro. I thought
But
it
he
was
did
over
get up,
too. I know, bro.
and there was some people saying that the ref might have counted a little too slow, but he did get up.
Hey, as a Deontay Wilder fan, I know all about that. I know all about that.
and then from that point on, I knew either Haney. Oh, actually, we'll say so. Ryan got the knockdown, and then he also got a point taken though. So
Yes.
that kind of
I thought that
because he
was
hit
a
it.
pretty stupid move by him. I'm like, people were saying he should have got a warning, but I'm like, that was pretty blatant. Well, I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
the ref
So
was
if you
really in
didn't
between
see,
you guys. Like, you really reached past the
he
ref
hit
and
him
hit
right
him.
after. Yeah. It was so dumb.
I
I don't
feel
know why
like,
he did that.
yeah, he had a lot of adrenaline. I think he really just wanted to get the finish. He wanted to get that iconic finish. But man, he came close, bro. Definitely the ref helped Haney out, and Haney's holding definitely helped him out, bro. From round 7 on, bro, Haney is just
Yeah.
holding on for dear life, bro. Like, he could not stay up whatsoever, bro. And that was a mistake. Obviously, it's like he kind of has to clinch when he's falling down, but I'm like, bro, every time they would clinch up and they break up, Ryan would just tee off on him even more. I'm like, bro, you got to stay away from him, bro. I'm like, man.
Well, I also started to think that maybe one of the I don't mid-fight game plans, I guess you could say, was every time they would go to clinch or every time he would get close, Ryan would like he does that Philly shuffle, but then he
Yeah,
like
yeah,
leans
yeah.
like this and then ends up turning his back, and people were making fun of it. But what it was doing was leaving his body open a lot, and Haney was just like
Yeah,
literally like repeatedly just punching him in the ribs. And
yeah,
the first time he did it, the ref told him don't do that, but it was legal. I don't know
yeah,
why the ref
yeah.
didn't
I know.
told him to stop because it
That
was
was a
legal.
weird moment there where I was like, bro, he's turning his back. What is he supposed to punch?
Yeah, 100% legal. But then I guess the ref caught on to it because then he ended up doing it again and
Yeah,
he let it go. But that was the one weird, really weird
yeah.
knock I saw on Ryan.
Oh,
Why were
yeah.
you turning your back like that and leaving your body open? Because I'm pretty sure you predicted it for Haney to win by body shot KO.
Yeah,
And at the point when he was just kept nailing him, I was like,
yeah, yeah,
man, he
yeah.
might actually.
Bro, I feel like, dude, as sad as it is, bro, this fight just confirms the Haney pillow fist allegations, bro. That was just
Yeah.
so bad, bro. I'm like, he was just leaving it for him right there, and he was just teeing off with the right, and it's like, bro, you could almost hear the freaking pillow sound effects every time he hit it, bro. I'm like, that's just doing no damage, bro. And the fact that he was letting Ryan get away with that sort of defense, I'm like, bro, you're not able to work an angle and get around that. And it's like, bro, that was just amateur looking level defense from Ryan. But it was just crazy to see Haney just not know what to do against it, where all he could
Yeah.
think of was just
Yeah.
let me try to hit him with the right to the body, where that was, bro, not doing any damage whatsoever, man. It was just
And
clear that Haney just did not have the power to keep him off of him or like counter him when he did have openings. Because don't get me wrong, Ryan Garcia did have a lot of openings still, or he still was like lunging into everything, but Haney just did not have the power to capitalize or the defense to keep Ryan off of him either. So man, Haney, I just thought looked really bad in there compared to how we usually see him, and that's credit to Ryan, I think.
yeah, and then that leads us to I think he knocked him down again, and then that leads us to the end of the fight, the judges. So while watching in real time, obviously I can see the CompuBox stats here, but obviously I didn't know in real time. But you can see the total punches to the body were close. Honestly, surprised that Haney is lower, but
Yeah.
with total strikes, and then obviously the body landed, and the power punches. While this was happening, the first judge was a draw. So
Yeah.
when the first judge said draw, I was like, I guess I could see that. I guess because, like I said, while watching it, we don't. I'm not seeing the stats. I wasn't looking at it. I was just watching the fight. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it seemed to me like Ryan Garcia was getting the big moments, right? The knockdowns and stuff. But because he was taking so many rounds off, Haney continued to just pick him apart a little bit.
Yeah. 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 Pick
And
up it just by just a little bit.
yeah, and like get ahead on the scorecards,
Yeah. Yeah.
round by
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking, like, I don't think either one of them won by a very close
Yeah. Yeah.
margin,
Plus
or
the
it could
point
be a
deduction.
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus the
then the
point.
point deduction that I thought, man, this because I was actually doing the calculations on a calculator of what I thought each round was.
Yeah.
And I kept coming to the conclusion that they were 1 point apart either way. And I was like, damn, maybe it is a draw. And then they said the majority decision ended up for Ryan Garcia. And I was like, okay, I see that. I see it.
Yeah.
But did you think that it could have been a draw?
I definitely wouldn't score it a draw, to be honest, although I'm not surprised that one of the judges did. We knew no boxing where they really love the ring generalship, and it's like even if you're not necessarily doing damage, you can still win rounds. And I think Haney definitely
Yeah.
picked up a decent amount of rounds where, especially early in the fight, where after he got rocked in that first round, Garcia was really taking some rounds off in the middle round. So I could see how it happened, but I definitely don't agree with it, especially considering the 3 knockdowns where there was a point deduction, but Garcia still had those 2 extra points from the knockdowns that
Yeah.
didn't happen, you know? So I feel like and I honestly feel like Haney got lucky that there wasn't more knockdowns, because a few of those times where Haney slipped, I feel like could have easily been considered a knockdown. I feel like
Yeah.
especially one instance I can remember specifically where I'm like, dang, I'm surprised they did not rule that a knockdown. But yeah, I definitely think the right man won. With boxing, I gotta say it, where you always never know. I'm always like, I was honestly thinking in my head, I'm like, it might be a draw after hearing that first scorecard, where I feel like maybe it's like, I don't know if anything is really rigged in boxing, but I do think that because there's so many rounds and the scorecards are so subjective, where sometimes we get these really wonky scores, and I feel like I wouldn't have been surprised if they did make it a draw. But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think the right man won, especially looking at these numbers where, yeah, Haney just did not do enough, especially later in the fight where he was just hurt bad, like pretty much from around 1 on. So I don't blame him. And credit to Haney for being tough in there, where, man, he just looked like a little boy in there compared to Ryan Garcia, where he was just getting bullied, bro. Like every time Ryan wanted to hurt him, he hurt him, where Haney couldn't hurt him whatsoever. I mean, Ryan's face looked completely untouched, and Haney's face looked like completely swollen. Like every single angle of it was swollen, bro. So, man, credit to Haney, man. He literally jumped onto the ropes after the fight, acting like he won, and he could barely even hold himself up. So I'm like, get this man to a
Yeah.
hospital. I mean, that was just bad, but it was a super fun fight, and I really think that Ryan, if he can keep performing to this standard, then I think he's on a really good path. Despite how crazy he might be outside of the ring, he's shown that he's still able to perform in the ring, where in my eyes, that's all that matters in at least for the sport of boxing, where, man, I may not like Garcia's crazy personality all the time outside of the ring, but at least he's being dedicated enough to the sport to still put on good performances, where I kind of thought that he was just going to just be showing up for the money and not even like look good whatsoever. But man, he looked great.
Yeah, and that brings me to you know, the all the talk around the new coaches and stuff around Ryan Garcia. So overall, I see still obviously some issues in his game, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
where do you see he can improve on? Because besides the turning his back, which
Yeah.
is a weird thing, um, he's really not good on the back foot. And that was one of the things that Devin Haney I thought was doing right in the earlier rounds. He was making Ryan go on the back foot. He was pushing Ryan. He was chasing him the entire time until he wasn't, obviously, until Ryan would push forward and hit him one. But for when Haney was putting him on the back foot, it was like Garcia couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then he'd end up just turning his back. So, though I do think that Ryan Garcia, props him for showing up, especially if all the manic whatever is real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just a
Yeah.
troll. Props to him showing up. Great on the front foot when he's pushing forward. Obviously, we saw what he did to Haney. He knocked him down a couple times, hurt him with the left multiple times, had them like
Yeah.
shaking. But against someone else, let's say he goes up and fights someone else's way. I see today he was calling out Errol. Now, with that being on the back foot or with him turning his back like that, that does not bode well for some of these fighters. No hate towards Haney, but
Yeah.
they pull a fist allegations like
I feel like
when you get
they're
into someone who can hit,
yeah. Haney
you might be
clearly
screwed.
showed he does not have any sort of power where it scares off opponents. Where, bro, I'm just wondering what's up with Regis' progress because, bro, I thought Regis was a lot better, but Haney made completely light work of him. So that really just threw me off in this fight where I thought, oh, he made Regis look like light work. He'll definitely take out Ryan, but man, boy, was I wrong.
And that's basically what I want to ask. So, do you think, if Ryan Garcia were to move up or were to fight another power puncher, a better power puncher, I should say,
I definitely think
he has to improve. Like, big time.
100%. I mean, we saw it in the Oscar Duarte fight where he definitely won the fight and he got the finish, but he did not look great. And Oscar's a guy that could definitely crack. Definitely a lot harder than Haney. So I feel like he definitely struggles more against people that can have some firepower to compete against him, where Haney just did not have the firepower to compete whatsoever, man. It was like an ancient musket versus like an AK-47, bro. I'm like, the power we're dealing with. I'm like, bro, it was just on a whole different level for Ryan. And I do think that it is going to be a different story at a higher weight class where he's not going to be able to fully bully guys like he did in there with Haney. But I do think that, man, that left hand is special. And I feel like if he's able to really fine tune his defense a little more, like, I mean, that silly shell is what I'm going to call it. The silly shell. I've heard that online. I'm running with it. I feel like if he can refine that, it is an unorthodox move where it's hard to it's like, if he's actually able to make it work for him, I mean, hey, more power to him, where there's not going to be a lot of guys that you're going to find who can replicate that the way Ryan does it. And because, man, he was looking crazy unorthodox in there, especially towards the end where Haney still couldn't touch it. And I'm like, man, what is up with this guy? So, man, I was really impressed with Ryan, but I do think he does need to work on just lunging in and leaving his chin super wide open, where Tank showed that if you're able to stay composed and find that chin at the right time, he will go down. And Haney just did not even find the counters really to even put him down if he did have the power. So, man,
that's the one knock with that shell, though. I agree that it's seemingly working. He's doing a good job with it. But the one knock is, in my opinion, he's leaving that body open.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw what happened in the Tank fight.
Yeah.
If you get someone who can hit hard enough, especially with how many times Haney was hitting him in the body, if someone with a big amount of power can hit him that many times in the body, it's not going to. Yeah, he's going to drop.
Yeah. I agree. I do think that his body is probably weakened from the whole rehydration clause thing, but I mean, I feel like if you get in there with a heavy hitter and you just leave your body open, that's never smart. So, I do think he definitely needs to refine it. Well, right now it does still look super wonky and definitely still has some openings that he just didn't have the power to really exploit. And, man, I have to be a fan of Ryan Garcia's game after that, where, man, he really fooled me, bro, where I thought he was not focused whatsoever, where I may not be a fan of some of the antics outside of it. I mean, I like how he's donating to charities and stuff, but some of the other stuff is a little too much for me, where I'm like, all right, bro, we get it. But anyway, but the performance is what really matters, and that was one of the best performances I've ever seen from a boxer, where it was a surprise factor, and then just how much of a sustained beating it was. Where, bro, from round 1, and then he took some rounds off, but then it was just whenever he wanted, bro, he could just completely run up in on them, and man, it was just ridiculous to see.
And then on the Haney side, I guess we have to talk about this because it's been a topic. I mean, we know someone who it's definitely a topic from. These chinny allegations for
Yes,
Devin
yes,
Haney.
yes.
I think there's misunderstanding, I guess you could say, of what that actually means.
Yeah,
Now, in my opinion, from watching, some of these older guys fight, there's always I guess a time where they lose their chin. And then in my opinion, then they become chinny because it's like every time you get hit, you're getting knocked out. You can't take a punch anymore. Yada yada yada. Devin Haney, this is the first time he's ever been knocked down.
yep,
Now, granted, it was multiple times, but he also kept getting back up. Yes, his legs
yeah,
were wobbled, but he kept getting back up. He never got fully knocked out, and he lasted the entire fight. Do you count that as chinny? Because he wasn't getting knocked out, and
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
never has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it definitely depends on how you define it. But yeah, in my eyes, yeah, like you said, I consider chinny someone like Amir Khan, Dominic Reyes on the UFC side, where it's like
Yeah.
once that chin gets touched, they're going night night. And I definitely don't think that Devin Haney's at that point yet. I feel like if anything, he's almost at that middle ground where his chin's not good enough where he doesn't get rocked, but it's also not bad enough where he's going down constantly, where it's almost like he just is able to take a beating, honestly, where he's able to
Yeah, there
like
was some times in
stay in.
that fight where he was
Yeah,
getting hit and didn't fall.
yeah, yeah. Where I'm like, his chin is like good enough where he doesn't go out, but it's not good enough where he's not getting wobbled. So he's in kind of that middle ground for me, where I definitely don't think he's chinny, but he's not going out cold. But he definitely is not the most durable fighter. But I mean, if
Yeah.
anyone's getting hit with that many left hooks from Ryan, I don't know if anyone's staying up. So he was getting hit with that all night. So I definitely am not surprised he went down. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I saw someone
I was
say,
honestly impressed that he did not go out. So I feel like that's
yeah,
more credit to the chin than
yeah, me too. Because I saw someone say, "Oh, he's chinny. The only thing that kept him in the fight was his heart." Uh, that's not a real thing. It was his chin.
yeah,
He kept
yeah,
getting back up because he didn't knock him out.
yeah,
You can't
exactly.
just say, "Oh no, I'm not gonna get knocked out." Like, no,
Yeah,
you're getting knocked out if you
100%.
can get knocked out.
Yeah,
So
that
it
is a
was his
very
chin.
good point.
In my opinion, it was like impressive to me. Now,
Yeah,
obviously,
I was
the
very
performance
impressed
wasn't
with the
impressive,
toughness. Yeah.
but the
Oh yeah.
toughness was impressive for sure. I mean,
People were
what
saying,
was it? Was it the right side of his face
yeah.
looked a little bit swollen? He was
Mhm.
like he was getting beat up, man, but he kept
Yeah.
going. So I
I
was
mean,
impressed.
most people thought the only way that Ryan was going to win this fight was by KO. So the fact that he almost got KO'd like from literally round 1 on, but he didn't get KO'd was pretty impressive to me.
Yeah. So I just props to Devin Haney on the toughness. But I
Yeah.
don't know what he was
Bro.
doing in the ring. I thought
Yeah.
off night. I don't know, but
I mean, yeah, I
rough.
feel like he just needs to go back to the drawing board where, bro, nothing was working. I mean, the footwork was not on point. The blocking was definitely not on point, where it was just non-existent, where he was just relying on his head movement, and the head movement was not on point because that was clearly not working for him. And so, yeah, man, he just needs to go back to the drawing board with his game planning and his defense, where I feel like he should have maybe tried to tire out Ryan and not just I mean, he immediately tried to exchange lefts, and I'm like, bro, that's not going to work out well when you're fighting Ryan Garcia, trying to parry his jab and then try to catch him with a jab, bro. I'm like, bro, that was just some of the worst game planning I've seen. But all credit to Ryan, man. That is honestly as close to a perfect performance as I've seen, especially against someone of the caliber of Devin Haney. Although I will say there is a slight asterisk because he missed weight. And
Yeah.
that's on him. So he can't even be mad if that people are ragging on about that. It's like, bro, if you don't want Haney to have that sort of excuse, you should have made weight. So Haney's always going to have that excuse, just like how Garcia has that excuse of the whole rehydration clause against Tank that he likes to say, oh, I was drained for that fight. Haney can say, "Oh, you didn't even come in weight, and I was drained." So it goes both ways.
And then I guess here, final thoughts here. What's next? Or should I say, who is next for each fighter? Who do you think, since he won, who do you think Ryan Garcia goes after next?
Man,
Do you think we get a rematch because he didn't make weight, so he can try and get that title, or do you think he moves up, or
yeah,
someone else?
I think he's gonna move up. I don't know if this will happen next, but I would love to see this fight. Sebastian Fundora, 6'7", lanky dude. He has been knocked out before, so I think Ryan could get him out of there if he connects. And it would just be crazy to see Ryan in there with someone 6'7" when he fought Tank, who's like 5'6". So it would just be crazy to see the two images next to each other, honestly. So I'd love to see that. I know Fundora's a champion. I think he's a champion at 154 now, so it might be a little bit too big of a jump. But he used to fight at 147, so maybe we can make a catchweight situation. But that fight is one that I'd love to see. But man, I also wouldn't be opposed to a rematch either, where I don't know if Ryan has already said he's not going to be able to make weight, so I don't know if Haney is even going to want to do some sort of catchweight nonsense with Ryan. But man,
Yeah,
the thing is with Ryan, now possibilities are endless. So he can really do whatever he
yeah,
wants in terms of opponents. I honestly, this will never happen, but I would honestly like to see him and Tank run it back with maybe a catchweight where no dehydration clause, and we can really see who the better man is. I know that Tank is a lot smaller than Ryan, especially now. So it'd be a little bit crazy to see, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past Tank.
yeah. For me, the Tank rematch would be cool. I think him getting a rematch against Haney, depending on obviously the weight, would
Yeah.
be cool. But I do like the prospect of him calling out Errol Spence.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
call you call out Spence like,
Former
all
gym
right,
partner.
let's see where your levels are at
Yeah.
because
For real, bro.
you
Former
know
gym partner is crazy.
we saw what happened with Spence in the Crawford fight. Um, so let's see where both of them are at.
Yep.
Can Ryan get a win against him, and or can Spence bounce back?
Bro.
And with the whole weight shit, it will really
Yeah.
be on an even playing field.
Bro, I'd be worried for Spence. I'm not gonna lie. Where, man, that was just a really bad beating in his last fight. But that would be a really good one too. Plus the drama of Spence leaving Derek James and now Ryan Garcia is still with him. That would just be super fun. So I like that one too a lot.
And then of course, what's next for Devin Haney? Devin Haney,
Take some time
you
off.
know, champ, but he lost.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think he takes some time off. Do you think he comes back and fights just someone to get a win? You know what I
I
mean?
think that's probably what most likely. Although I would say I'd love to see him and Shakur finally get in there where that's someone where he doesn't really have to worry too much about the power. No offense to Shakur, but he's not exactly known for his one punch KO power, especially compared to a guy like Ryan. So that would be, I feel like, would be a good technical battle, and you wouldn't have to worry about Haney getting another complete, brain damaging beating because
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened.
Shakur also went and I believe on Twitter called out Ryan.
Yeah,
So
which would be crazy. I feel like Shakur is a little small for Ryan, but hey, bro, he's got some balls on him.
yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Haney and Shakur. I mean, there's the three guys that are rotating right now.
Mhm.
And now Ryan's thrown into it. It's Shakur, it's Haney, it's Tank, and now obviously Ryan is in the mix.
Yeah, I'd also love to see
Tank is
Ryan and Teofimo. That'd be another good
yeah,
one.
yeah. I think that I guess in my opinion, obviously it's all opinion based. Tank's the top right now. I think you
Yeah,
got to beat Tank. You want to be the man, you got to beat Tank right now. And I
yeah,
know everyone and Ryan are all over the rehydration and yada yada yada, but you want to make weight, you got to make weight. You got to beat the champ. You want to
yeah,
be the champ, you got to beat the champ. So he didn't.
yep.
I think that Tank would probably beat all of them, all three of them.
I mean,
Ryan
yeah.
again, if they fought, I think he beats Shakur. I think he beats Haney. So
Hmm.
interesting mix there between them. But I would like Haney and Shakur to go at it because I think that would be fun.
Yeah, 100%, man. I just think that this fight really rejuvenated boxing where they really needed that huge star after Floyd. I mean, Canelo held that torch for a while. He's kind of starting to get older now, so they're looking for that new star. And I think if Ryan can at least stay focused enough to get in the ring, he can clearly do very good things. So I think we could have a future superstar. I mean, he's already superstar, but could be like an even bigger superstar than we've seen in years. So I hope he stays active. I hope he doesn't take too much time off. I mean, he looked pretty much flawless. His face did not have a spot on it, so I think he should be able to get back in there relatively soon.
It's that one thing that's eluding him, and that's that championship.
Exactly.
I know people say that he might be bigger than the title, but in the eyes of purists, in the eyes of even maybe some casuals, you don't have the title, you're not the champ, you're not the best because you don't have the title. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he had it, but he gave it away himself.
Yep,
So,
that's on him. Yep.
I think he just has to figure it out, and in my opinion, it's probably moving up weight.
Yeah,
because if you can't make it down to this weight,
I mean,
with no rehydration clause,
yeah, I mean, he's never
and
made
for the
it.
title, like
he's never made 140 where he's fought at 140 multiple times, but every time it ended up being a catch weight of 143. So I just think that he needs to move up. I mean, stop pretending you can make weight, you know? So
yeah, just move up, and then we'll see. Maybe he can win a title up there. We'll see with the
I definitely think
the
a
power
title's in his
levels.
future.
I think it would be fun. But yeah, overall, shocking.
Yeah, shocking, bro.
I don't think
major.
Not many people predicted that.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney, knocked him down multiple times, like crazy.
Yeah, like whooped him. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah, so man, I guess congratulations, Ryan Garcia.
Yes,
props, major props.
Yep.
And we'd love to see, what you do next. And hopefully, like you said, you don't take too much time off because it didn't even seem like you took that much, if any, damage.
Yeah.
So let's see you back in there. For Haney, man, definitely take some time off.
Yeah, 100%.
But as always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know down in the comments who would you like to see Ryan fight next? Would you want him to move up? You want him to get that rematch with Tank? You want him to get a rematch with Haney? The Spence is on the table now that Ryan called him out.
I like that.
What do you want to see? Let us know in the comments. Obviously, also click the link in our bio. Go to our gaming channel. Check us out over there. A video just dropped today from Max.
Yes, sir.
Combat Sports Gaming over there. So check that out. And yeah, that's it for us. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.